Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We are zooming in and focusing in on a very important concept when it comes to really having a heartfelt understanding and healing when it talks about moving through a narcissist, covert narcissist, or a psychopathic relationship that you have experienced in your life and really transcending beyond it. And that is the concept of force, which has been exerted in your life by this person, which is information, versus true power, which is true healing and transcendent energy. And we're going to talk about this as a very important mechanism and information. And I really want you to grasp onto this. It's a very important video, and I think this will serve you very well. And before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to those of you who have recently made a donation to Peace and Harmony, to the channel. I can't tell you enough my heartfelt gratitude and how excited and how amped up I am to continue to produce content that can be relevant and help you to transcend and heal for a lifelong journey, for lifelong healing that will forever heal the wound and help you to experience some miraculous change in your life. Especially those of you from the Southwest area of the United States. Much love to you and your continued viewership and your loyalty and your comments and your input. Whether you realize it or not, your input is so important and instrumental to the journey and where we're going. And really, for all of the viewers, realize that you're not just passive. You are all contributors, and your presence is so valuable. And your contribution towards this channel and the journey is so significant. So I just want to reinforce that much love to you and your contribution. So thank you once again. And I really want to focus in on a really important concept here in this journey. And I have a lot of content that I'm developing here in the next couple of weeks, so I want you to stay tuned. And that is the concept of force that is exerted by a narcissist in their relationships in order for them to manipulate, in order for them to control, in order for them to dominate, and really how they interact with people in their relationships. So again, once again, a lot of people open up their hearts and their minds to a narcissist because of their charm, or perhaps even because of the birthright. You know, you might have been either employed with this person or born into a family dynamic where this person is, you know, a father or a grandfather or an uncle or a sibling, you know, something in your family dynamic where you've had ongoing and chronic exposure to this type of force or narcissistic personality, somebody who is really presenting with a lack of empathy. So someone who is not perceptive, aware of, or really validating of another's personality, their feelings, needs, wishes, desires, really their overall presence. They tend to ignore, they tend to be very aloof, they tend to repress and be very numb to others' input, to others' presence, to others' voice, you know, very insensitive. And really it is really what is called a lack of empathy. The narcissist has a deficit in this area. So really, they really will exert what is known as a force to people. And this is very contrary to true power. When we talk about force, we are talking about an energetic vibration. We're talking about a presence. We're talking about, you know, a personality. We're talking about the language. We're talking about their body movement. Please realize that we are aware of really only 1%, very little information in terms of really what is going on when we interact. And when you are interacting with a narcissist, they exert more force into your energetic field. And by the things that they say, that they do, that they believe, then creates information. And this information that you receive is oftentimes a negative assessment of yourself, messages that are telling you that you're not good enough, that you need to be traumatically bonded to them in order to navigate your place in the world. In other words, they keep you stuck. They keep you stifled. They keep you in an energetic bond with them. So versus having a healthy interaction and coming with a sense of wholeness, independence, autonomy, and being complete in and of yourself, they inadvertently, and oftentimes, with a psychopath, it's very consciously and deliberate, the hurt that they will inflict, but they inadvertently tell you that you have something missing. You are inherently flawed. Something about you is not complete and whole and integrated within yourself. And this is the wound. This is the deep hurt that then presents itself when you try to go out and meet people and date people, find yourself in employment situations, and you are not able to function. You are not able to flourish. You are not able to live in the present. You're not able to cause a successful future. Your perspective is designed on a blueprint, which is making you feel a deep chasm and almost like an abyss, that is very dysfunctional, and it's very limiting, and it's very much like you're being stuck, you're being ensnared. And you might present with physical symptoms. You might not be able to speak. You might not be able to smile. You might not be able to laugh. A lot of people have this social anxiety where they can't even move around people. They can't take care of themselves. They're always feeling this tremendous anxiety, and that is because of the force that was exerted in your, a force through the negative messages that they said, the way that they treated you, and then how you physically held on to that information. Because realize that the feelings are the language of the body. And thoughts are the language of the mind. And so the negative messages that you receive oftentimes then translate into information. So the snuffing off, the telling you, of judgment, the criticisms, all the criticisms that you heard, your skin is this, your eyes are that, your hair is this, you are this, and you can fill in the blank with everything that was given to you. You're not fast enough. You're not slow enough. You're not intelligent enough. You're not pretty enough. Why should you care about being pretty? Why should you care about doing well? You are so, you're a horrible person. You are, incorrigible. There's a lot of expletives that the narcissist has given to people in their life. You have a pimple. Look how dry your skin is. Your nails are so ugly. All the different things that they are going to flaw you with, or they objectify you. Oh, look how pretty, and then they will isolate only one part of you, and they don't relate to you as a whole person. So realize that there's a kinesthesiology. Kinesthesiology is really kind of the movement of the body. That's called kinesthetics, and your body will hold on to this negative force from this person, whether it's a spouse, a boss, and it'll cause you to have this negative feeling, and oftentimes are very restrictive. And I want to give you a very important tool to understanding power. Power is when your body is in its best state, its most positive state, its flourishing state. That is a state of power. And as a person, as a human being, remember, we're not human doings, we are human beings. We have power. We have power to create. We have power to grow as people. And realize that the information that you have received from a narcissist oftentimes is forceful or negative or destructive or degenerative in nature. So we're going to use an analogy here. Let's consider the resource of wood. You've all seen trees, forests, you've seen logs, you've seen houses, you've seen tables, built out of wood. This is a natural resource. This was given to us on the planet. There is an abundance of hundreds of thousands of millions, of trees. Wherever you live, you can find one. And consider this is the equivalent to a resource or something that God has provided. And experiential, you can go out, you can touch it, you can see it, you can experience trees or wood in your everyday life. Now imagine and understand that the treatment from a narcissist is also like a resource or information or experience in your life. It is placed in your life very much like a tree is placed in your life. It is something that you have experienced. It is something that you have seen, and it is something that you have received information from. And now imagine force like an axe. An axe exerting force against a tree, what is it going to do? It's going to disrupt that. It's going to disrupt that tree. It's going to disrupt that growth. It's going to disrupt that grain. It's going to create, a separation of the two pieces. And, you need to have that force to, a blunt force, which is really, what is exerted on that tree to make it split. Realize that this experience from a narcissist is very much like a force to the natural resource of your being. And it creates a severing, it creates an impact, it creates a blow. And this is a force that's designed to, respond and react. So just like a tree is going to react to the hit of an axe and separate, very much like the experience of the force of a narcissist through criticism, judgment, the condescension, the, feeling that they are above and beyond you, all the traits of them, the pathology, the illusion is very much experienced by the body like a force. And like a force. And so really the body has received that and holds on to it. And so all knowledge you have held on to it. So to release it, you need to realize that your body has a natural healing and will resonate to a higher goodness, a higher presence, a higher information, which gives it strength, which gives it the fortitude. And we talk about, the intestinal fortitude, the power in the solar plexus, which is yours and yours alone. And oftentimes that space within you has been violated by a narcissist or a psychopath. They have blurred the boundaries. They have exerted force in your life that has caused an injury or some sort of emotional dysfunction. And so now I want you to come to the understanding that this individual is really just like an experience that has created this impact, but yet you need to call upon the power within you, which is yours and yours alone. And I know people are saying, peace and harmony, this is really deep stuff. Well, I want you to realize that when you go with the flow of this and you're able to release that experience and come back to the resource, that you have this abundance of energy and information within you, and kinesthetically, you have the ability to feel your own personal power apart from this force. And so when I say apart from, I mean distinct from. Just like an axe is distinct from a tree, your emotional being and your presence is really like that tree. They talk about the tree of life, and they talk about the rings and rungs of a tree, and you can see how old it is. I want you to realize that your emotional body has a similar sort of quality, if you will, in that it has the ability to become rooted and connected and then reach towards something greater, which is fueled by really true information and directed towards what you need and what you want in your life. And this is basically what we call, the conscious, your consciousness, your higher consciousness. And oftentimes this awareness is blunted by a narcissist. It is basically cut off. You are cut off from your purpose. You're cut off from that higher source, that higher energy, that kind of part of you that knows how to think, plan, come up with solutions, options, different ways of thinking. We talk in the recovery journal about, if you didn't have all this negative feeling put in place by the narcissist, I would really love to. I would really love to go to. I would really love to become. I would really like to have. I would really like to become employed doing this. I would really, and these are all identity questions. So I want you to understand that you and your energy are as distinct and separate from the narcissist as separate and distinct as an axe is from a tree. So if you can understand that axe is separate from you, and that you have your own energy within, which is your personal power, and based on the work of Dr. David Hawkins, I want you to understand something very, very interesting. And if you followed me this long, This is really kind of on a documentary length here. And I really want you to understand this. And I'm going to really simplify a lot of the work that I have done. And a lot of people say, peace and harmony, where do you get all this information? It's from years and decades of study, research, and experience. And so I want you to understand there's a very interesting concept discussed by the work of Dr. David Hawkins, and that is what they call muscle testing. Realize that deep within the recesses of your mind and your body, you have divine knowledge. Your body, your kinesthetic, your physical self, your subconscious mind that is made up of trillions and trillions of cells. You have different types of cells, that are called neurons in the mind. And there's, muscle fibers, etc., bone tissue, etc. Your body has a direct connection to infinite intelligence and truth. So when people, talk about, I've been separated from myself, I'm depersonalized, it's because you've been separated by the force and blunt actions of, this hurtful energy. And we're understanding that energy is information. And so this is negative energy or information or pathology from this individual. So you have encountered this, you've experienced this. Just like you might have experienced a tree in a forest, you've experienced this. And your body, now we're getting back to the concept of personal power and what we call power. Your body has what we call a muscle test, which means it'll resonate, it'll react towards certain information, either positively with strength or negatively with weakness. And you can do this independently alone, but you most effectively you can do this with two people. If you were to extend your left arm and press down, if you were to hold it out and then press down, it would have a certain resistance. And certain information, people, concepts, food, places, etc., everything really can resonate and react to what we call a muscle test. And so, and I know that this is really deep information, but I'm going to go into it a little bit just for your own takeaway and your own value from this video. And that is to understand that certain people and concepts will resonate and give you strength, whereas others will give you weakness. So your goal for your future and for today and for this weekend and ongoing is to resonate and come in contact with those things which resonate with you in muscle test positively. So for example, the word deserve, if you were to test that, your body would react naturally very stronger to I deserve versus I need. And just like, you can resonate, people. For example, if you read the book by David Hawkins, Power versus Force, one thing that really always resonates very weak is Hitler, a psychopath. And if people say Hitler, their arm will go down with just a slight tap. Your arm will go down. That is your muscle test. You don't even have to resonate it on the analytical part of your mind. So I want to get you beyond the analysis where, I'm not good enough. This person did this to me, and I'm energetically connected to this person. And in fact, when we talk about narcissistic relationships, people become so trauma bonded that they feel like they are this narcissist. In other words, they feel so defined by this person. They have so hyper projected to them, and they are so hyper aroused by them, and they are so hyper connected that they almost feel that this person is like part of them. We talk about this person's part of me, but oftentimes this is in a negative fashion. They're hyper relating, over identifying with this person. They're over identifying with this negative person. And this is what you need to cease. You need to cease hyper identifying with this person, even if it's somebody very significant, like a parent, a boss, a lover, a spouse, a sister. You need to cease that hyper identifying, because that traumatic bond is creating that muscle test, something very negative, and it's causing you inherent weakness in your body, inherent weakness in your thoughts. And remember, emotions are the language of the body, so that's why you're feeling these weak feelings. It's something that's degenerative for you. So just like if you were to go to a forest and see a mushroom degenerating and eating away at a tree, very much, the narcissist or psychopath is like that degenerative force. They're eating away at your body tissue. They're taking away a part of you. Britney Spears, you want a piece of me. I mean, they're literally taking away a part of you. And so I want you to understand this and begin to realize and see and acknowledge and become sensitive to the thoughts, the feelings, the experiences that test within you as strong or test within you as weak. For example, and this is just a little snippet from the book, but for example, artificial sweetener will test very, very weak towards people versus, a natural fruit. That's, versus banana, apple, grape, apricot, pineapple. These things will resonate stronger versus aspartame or some sort of artificial sweetener. And that will show you how degenerative and how your body instinctively, inherently, intuitively knows, which again, we're connected to that divine power, which oftentimes is not acknowledged and not validated from the narcissist. And this is really we're just doing a documentary here. We're just blowing all out. I'm sorry, and I apologize. I hope you can anticipate a lot of this and stop and start or get yourself, a beverage doing this, and hopefully a healthy beverage, a smoothie, something delicious. But and I'm just going to go a little bit longer here because I know it's a lot of information, and you can always come back to it and play it again and again, but I'm fired up. And so the muscle testing, which you can kind of acknowledge within yourself, and I want you to become more attuned to this. And this is really part of lifelong, and this will create lifelong healing for you. I mean, it is yours. You own it. This is like internal real estate. This is like, this is like prime real estate within yourself. And I really think of your emotions as real estate because it gives you a feeling. Your emotions give you perspective. Your emotions are really your blueprint for your life, where you go, who you connect with, how much money you make, how you feel about yourself, the things that you have, the cars that you drive, the shoes that you wear, and realize that these certain experiences are going to resonate stronger within you. And muscle testing, and you can check out the book by Dr. David Hawkins. You can read a little bit. I'll kind of give you the abstract here. But basically, if you were to stand with your left arm directly out in front of you like this, and have another person with you, and just have them, just hold it out and then have them lightly press down to see where your resistance is. And then for that person then would say to you, Hitler, and just push down, your arm would naturally fall down. I mean, you don't even have to press very hard. Your body will just go. And if you were to then say, think of your higher, a person who's more integrated, more whole, more healthy. Just for example, the Pope or some other leader who, a mandala, someone who is very spiritual or very positive. It'll say strong. And next thing, also try, for example, the word deserve. And have that person press deserve and see how your body holds up. And then say need. And then see how your body falls. This is a good way for you to become attuned to and sensitive to the kinesthesiology, the emotional resonance that is already built into part of your operating system, which is your emotion, your personality, your thought. And you can call on this when you really are into your healing. And you can muscle test those narcissists, those people in your life, and see if your arm falls or not. And this will give you a good, instinctive, intuitive awareness and connection to a resource within yourself, like a forest, like a rainforest, like a beautiful, magnificent garden that you can go into and determine what is positive and what is really negative, destructive, and degenerative for you in your life. And see if this can call forth your personal power and begin to surround yourself with more of those feelings, thoughts, people, experiences, and actual physical items, including food, things that you own, and see if you can resonate and see which picks up according to that power and which really goes more to the force or the negative, and begin to surround yourself strictly with those things which are giving you the positive, the power, and get rid of totally the acts, as we're saying here, those items which resonate very weakly for you and are not regenerative for you, but are more degenerative in nature. Get rid of those things. Literally discard them. Throw them away. Get rid of them from your aura, your personality, your personal environment, and see how the internal real estate that you have, your emotional energy, will begin to increase in value, strength, and abundance. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.